her today that we're always so excited when she shows up.
Phew! This is us excited.
Yeah, go Mel, go Mel. The Reverend Joyce Brown comes over the hill from Santa Cruz to be here.
She's not over the hill. She comes from over the hill.
Welcome back, Miss And I have known Joyce for a long time. How long, Joyce? Do you have any idea?
No. It's close to what, 37 years maybe?
Oh,
38?
wow.
Something like that?
Yeah. And I heard her speak and I went, wow, that is wonderful. This woman is an excellent speaker. So I'm so glad that we can invite her over here to come. And thank you so much for being here. I have no idea what she's going to be talking about, but I can honestly say sometimes she doesn't either. Because she's like I am. We say we're going to talk about, blue skies, and we end up talking about golden deserts. I mean, we never are quite too sure what we're going to be talking about. But I'd like for you all to put your hands together for Joyce Brown.
Well, there we are then.
On the road again?
Good morning.
Good morning.
Am I in your way?
No.
So I brought 10 pages of notes that I probably won't use.
Yay!
Because once you start reading, you're reading. And then, oh, look at that. Reading. One of my greatest joys is reading. As a child, at a certain age, the punishment was that I could not read. That was a tough punishment for a child who would do anything to read. Clean the house twice, upside down, do the blinds, scrub the floors, do the dishes, cook, whatever I had to do, I would do it to read. That mean I was up at 6 in the morning to get it all done so that I could sit down and be reading by 1 or 2, I would do it. So reading is very important to me. And I grew up in an environment where we had the Sears Roebuck catalog.
Oh, I love that Sears Roebuck catalog.
It also was the toilet paper. But the first thing you got to do was read it.
I don't like this page.
That's true. Everything was in it. Those catalogs had everything in them. You could outfit your home, and no matter, and your farm, whether you lived in the country or the city, it didn't matter. And one of the first things that I learned to read was that catalog. And then on it went. My first book was a huge medical dictionary that I got from the school because they threw it away, and I used to sit and read it and look at the pictures. And it inspired me to want to know more about what I was reading. Because you're reading it and you're going, okay, what does this mean? So the first thing that I researched was tornadoes. I didn't really understand why I was doing it because I truly didn't understand that we lived in tornado country. But I wanted to know what was a tornado. And then I began to get into the whole idea of what is a vortex. And then you begin to look into the idea of what is inside of a tornado, this silent place, this quiet place. And then the destruction of the tornado, how it moves, the way it spins, what it can do in 5 minutes, 5 seconds. And I learned all of that from a dictionary, from an encyclopedia that was kept in a locked room in the school I went to. And I had to get special permission from the teacher, who used to look at me very funny. I was different. Oh. Thank you. I I checked. I was so different. No one wanted to read. No one wanted to go into this room with the encyclopedias. No one had questions. So I was always in trouble with the other students. All of this ties into forgiveness, believe it or not. I had to learn how to forgive what I wasn't allowed to do. I had to learn how to forgive those who hurt me. And I went through some very deep hurt. I had to, and I'm saying it this way because this is the way it was. I had to learn to forgive me. Everything. And I did. But since I am not perfect, and I'm really blessed for that, so I get to do it again, and again, and again, and again. And I get to come from my heart. Not just my mind, because I can tell you right now, you come from your mind all the time, you're going to have some serious stuff. Because the mind seems to like creating these wonderful little dramas. Now that's perfectly fine if you're writing a doggone good mystery. You know, you can create wild sci-fi. You can write some poetry that didn't nobody even know you had it in you. It's a beautiful thing you can do with the mind. But the mind is also, I believe, connected to your heart. But if you go from one place only, go from your heart. I would say that to anyone who would ask me. But they say, you think all the time. I said, of course. I love thinking. I love doing that stuff, figuring it out. What does that mean? I don't know, but as my father would say, let me zern it. I'll zern it. Then I'll say, that's what it means to me. And they said, that can't be right. I said, why not? I said, you're entitled to give it meaning also. And the same thing applies to forgiveness. You have to pay attention to the meaning that you give to the events in your life. No, we are not perfect. And yes, we have been hurt. And tomorrow, someone will hurt someone. At this very moment, someone is being hurt. And they are not knowing what to do. Whether they are a child or an adult. Whether you're in the war or in the city. Something is happening. And when you can come from the heart, you can make a tremendous difference in life. It begins with you. And I'll tell you straight up, I used to hate my mother. I don't say this lightly. I saw no reason not to. I saw no reason not to hate someone who so hurt me. And I had all these shoulds about what a mother was supposed to be. Well, you know, you have to get rid of that. Them shoulds are dangerous.
Oh, yeah.
They should not think that way. They should not act that way. They should not treat me that way. They should not speak that way. Mm-hmm. Well, you get rid of that. They should not.
They should know better.
They should know better. Like, why would they know better? They learned it. See, we learn. We learn all the time. So, you learn love. Somebody can say, well, you're born with love. I said, well, okay, fine. I'm good with that. How do you cultivate it? In your environment. How do you cultivate hate and violence? It makes no sense at all. In your environment. And that comes through mind and attitude. What is your attitude? If you look up at me and you say, who she thinks she is? Well, I know who I am. So I don't have no need for your influence there. And I do not go in that direction. You say, I don't have issues with you don't like me, fine. I like me. That's what counts. You don't like what I'm saying, fine. Go find someone else to say what you like. That's the way it is. But take that with you for what it is, my choice. But do not expect for me to become your idea of me. That don't work for Joyce. That is why I was always so different. And that is why I was always in trouble. And that is why. And that is why. And that is why. And then when you say, oh, stop. I'm just going to stop. And so, in order for me to deal with my hurt, And not knowing to do forgiveness, for a great part of my life, I didn't speak to people. I didn't talk to anybody unless I had to. And there are those who find that very hard to believe. But it's true.
You've made up for it.
Oh, I hit the ground running.
Just talk to the people you liked.
I hit the ground running. I had one person to talk to, and you all know about my father, Joseph. And I could talk to Daddy about anything, anytime, and he understood the fact that I was not like my siblings. I was uniquely me. Most of my siblings sort of fit into the same kind of curve, you know, following, doing the same things, thinking the same things, being the same way, having those shoulds and expectations of you because you are a girl or because you're a boy, because you are a woman, because you are a man. And the men got to be men, but the women still had to be girls. Well, you see, I wasn't working for Joyce, so so that went through some stuff too. So I had this incredible list of forgiveness for me. Amazing list. Amazing list. I started with my mother. I wasn't aware of it, but I did. And then I became aware of it, that's all. But it wasn't easy because I still wanted her in the body and out of the body to still be something she could not be. So when I let it all go, I could let her go. It was an amazing freedom. You want to be free? I can tell you what that is. See, I got all the answers today.
There you go. That's
I
why
got
we're
at least
here.
one. You want to be free? Do forgiveness. You want your freedom from? Make a list. Do some forgiveness. Come from your heart. Sometimes you got to think up your list. You know, come on, we got a connection here, people. We're not just heart. We're not just mind. We're not just body. We're all of it in the same package. It's all inside. You can look outside of you and find all the things that's wrong in the world. I know. I practice that every so often. I had a meltdown yesterday. I really did. I had such a hell of a meltdown. And
Poor Patty.
And Patty was standing there looking at me, and I just went for it. And I said, I need to get it out. She says, go ahead. So I got it out. And what was my meltdown about? Oppression, violence, murder, abuse. The people that should be protecting us are killing us as if it's okay. I am not something you go out to shoot for your dinner. So I was just really upset. I had no forgiveness anywhere.
Right.
I said to my heart, just leave me alone. I was pissed off. I was very upset because you look at it and people are working at it. They are seeking to make differences, and then someone comes along, it seems so mindless, and then do these things that they are entrusted not to do. I couldn't bear it. It just took me away. And I thought, and I'm going to be talking about forgiveness. I said, okay then.
Yeah, but later.
I'm going to work on this.
But you'll be talking later about it.
I'm going to be talking later. So what did I do? I did some forgiveness. I forgave me first. Some would say start other. I said, no. Joyce, I had to work on Joyce. So I did the forgiveness. I went all around. Everything I could possibly remember, I forgave. Everything that had come out of me, everything. I felt better. Changed my heart. We're going to be upset. Things are going to fire us up. It is almost impossible not to look and see something that will stimulate a memory. We can forgive, but we still have the memory. So when the memory gets active, and memories get active, have the courage to say to the memory, no, your memory, I know what you are, I know what happened, but I am not going to take that road. I called it, take the road less traveled. See that? There's a road over there, there's about 8 billion people on it, give or take. A couple of 100 million here and there. And then there's this road over here where there's 6 people on it too.
Hey.
So I decided to be number 7. Get on the road, and when you get on that road, you discover that it is not crowded at all. There's all this room. You can hit the move, do the little boogie.
Get down.
You can, hit it again.
Get down.
We can get it. You can do some fun things over there. You can go and roll in the grass, and you're not hitting anybody. You're not rolling in any dog poop or anything. It's an amazing.
Yay.
You're not worried about getting soil. You get some grass stains, it's good. The road less traveled is freedom. The road less traveled comes through the changing of the attitude which affects your heart. An angry heart leads to issues. A repressed heart leads to issues. It does. And we don't need science to tell us that. I grew up with people who were so angry that they died from it. Did the drugs from it, drank from it, violent from it. They were so angry. And what were they angry about? They were angry about the oppression. They were angry about what fell on them because of what they looked like. Because they were looking like me and they were being pissed off. I am so angry. I said, well, what can you do about it? I don't know. So they would drink. Drugs, food, anything to numb the pain. But if you said to somebody, what about forgiveness? They said, I will not forgive that person. I will not forgive that culture. I knew someone who was angry with everyone that was Portuguese. And I asked her, I said, what was that about? Because I had my feeling, I knew why. She said, because they were the ones who started all of this serious slavery. They were the one who started taking our ancestors and selling them and putting us on display for entertainment and all of that. And so that was where she held it. She just held it. She was ticked. So nothing, if it had anything to do with Portuguese, furniture, anything, art, clothing, nothing. That's a lot of hurt. That's a lot of anger and rage, and it's pushed inside. I used to feel that way about Willie Lynch. And for those of you who don't know anything about Willie Lynch, you probably don't want to, but Willie Lynch is purported to have written something like a manual or dossier on how to control your slaves. And he wrote this, what was that, 17 something. Anyway, it was designed to teach slave owners how to keep their slaves under control, how to keep everybody doing what they're supposed to be doing, and get rid of that rebellion, get rid of those strong-willed men and women. Get rid of all of that. Turn everybody against everybody. Turn everybody against anybody based on where you worked, inside the house or outside. Your color, whether you were dark skin or light skin. Turn people against each other. And so you can imagine what that was doing to me. Well, if you can't imagine, I could tell you. I was royally ticked. I was angry. I didn't have hate. I'm very honest about these things. There wasn't any hate. But I had so much anger. And guess where I had the anger? It wasn't with Willie Lynch. It was with African Americans who kept doing what was written in the manual. I said, oh, hello. And yes, it was true. What was being written was being done. And the manual said, once this is ingrained, it is good for the next 200, 300, 400 years.
Yep.
And guess what?
It is.
Yep, there it is.
There it is.
Slavery's been over something, what, 265 years? Something like that. So it hasn't exactly, y'all, been like, 1,000 years or anything. 265 years, give or take. That is when enslavement of peoples, African, Native, etc., stopped in what we call the United States of America. A democracy based on equality and freedom. How about that? Uh-huh. Right on there. So I was doing some serious forgiveness. So yeah, I threw a Willie in the group.
Yeah.
And I tossed me in the group. And then I asked everyone to forgive me. I asked everyone to forgive me. It's very important. I came from my heart and I sobbed. I sat on the couch, went through a box of clinic. And I asked everyone to forgive me for what I had placed on them. It wasn't theirs, it was mine. I felt better. I felt so much better that I didn't talk about Willie Lynch anymore. I felt so much better that I could read something about what African Americans were doing without being enraged that, haven't you got this? I was able to do that. And then I had a meltdown yesterday. My meltdown yesterday was very collective. I didn't leave anybody out, as far as I can remember. I just tossed everything in that pot. That was one heck of a stew cooking.
I know.
Spice it up too. And it was like, it was important for me to express it. Once I expressed it, I could hear me. When you're just thinking, you don't hear it. I'm pretty convinced. Go with your own way about seeing that. Because my thing is if I am hearing what is going on inside of me, then I surely wouldn't go over there and eat a box of cookies. I can tell you that. If I am hearing this voice telling me, oh, just have another cookie. If I'm hearing that voice, I'll say, no, I am not going to have another cookie. And then you have another cookie. Then you have another cookie. And then next thing you eat the whole box, and then you get rid of the box so nobody know you ate it.
Hello, sister.
Am I talking? All right. And so, if we're hearing these voices, then why are we then doing the behavior? The voice is saying doing the thing that we do not wish to do, but we do it. So why do we do it? Because we are not coming from the heart. We are just coming from habit. We're coming from secrecy. We're coming from denial. We're coming from oppression. We're coming from not being free, even within ourselves, to treat us better. But yet we want someone else to treat us better. Well, how can someone else treat Joyce better if Joyce doesn't treat herself better?
Whoa, yeah.
What am I doing, people? What am I asking?
You can forgive yourself.
There you go. I got to start with me. So what does it say? The key to the heart is forgiveness.
Is that on the first page of your notes?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, page 1. Well, the date is up there. Okay, then it says, forgiveness is moving from the problem to the solution. So that really was all I needed to say about that, really. But when we don't forgive, we are really giving the consent for whatever it is to keep going. We're saying it's okay to hurt me. It's okay for me to hurt me. There are exceptions to everything. I can safely tell you right now, I'm pretty doggone sure that my ancestors would not have chosen slavery as a way of being in the world. I'm pretty sure about that. I am pretty sure that all the women that have been killed for practicing herbs and medicine and being midwives, I'm pretty sure they would not have chosen that.
Right on.
I am pretty sure businesses that have went under, not because of poor management, but because those who owned the businesses sent them away. I am pretty sure all the people who wound up on the social services list would not like to have that.
That's right.
And I am pretty sure that we only want the best,
Yes.
That's right.
and yet we have to find ways to give that to ourselves, because I cannot depend that somebody else is going to give it to me.
Hallelujah.
I cannot. That is not being wise. And when someone cannot meet my expectations, I should turn back to me and say, Joyce, what are you doing? Why should that person, and I'm going to use the short here, why should that person meet your expectations? Are you not the one inside you, inside this body, living this life? They are not. They're sitting over there. And yet we are surrounded by individuals who want us not to be who we are because it makes them uncomfortable. Well, excuse me for one flying minute while you be uncomfortable. Go ahead. I'm working on the language.
I'm so glad.
Great job.
I'm working.
That flying had me nervous.
I caught it.
Doing good.
I caught it. Oh, forgiveness is strength and courage.
Yes.
It sure is.
It is.
It is important to remember that your heart is the teacher in life. When we open our hearts to receive and share, without any condition, the heart is love, compassion, gratitude, kindness, and peace. You can add in everything else you like. But these are some major ingredients for me when you're going to cook something. Did you know I cannot cook angry? Can any of you cook angry?
Nope, no, I burn.
You burn it. Well, who burns it?
Yeah.
Okay, now who else? It tastes like who made this?
Yeah.
Yeah, I stir it too vigorously and it all.
Yeah, and the potatoes get slimy. They don't get fluffy.
Oh, no.
And you forget about the beans and you're sitting there being angry and you say, what? Who's burning something? And it's you. And then the meat is tough. The fish is hard. Nothing works. That's what anger does. Now, if you can,
out to dinner.
that's when you go there, and that's where you still cannot be angry. Because you will get the burned piece in there, you'll get the rough piece in there, and the cook back there will not have your food right. I don't care what you say. Because you're sitting there being angry. I have found that anger is a form of this amazing rage we hold inside of ourselves, that we can call it hate, we can call it discouragement, we can call it resentment. Anger is like a cover page. Discouragement, though, is anger's big brother. I figured that out. Big sister, big aunt, big mama, whatever works. I'm open to it. But discouragement is one of the most amazing words ever. And you know why? Because if I can discourage you, I can do anything I want to you.
Oh.
I use the word for that. I
Mhm.
use the word personally, disappointment.
Disappointment.
Yeah.
Yes. Works too.
Well, discourage, I mean, if you look at the word courage, You're in your courage and somebody disses you.
That's right.
That's what happens.
They get rid of it.
Yeah.
You have nothing. So this whole idea of forgiveness is strength and courage goes right out the window. You're right. It's an amazing word, and it's a very powerful word. So here's what I'm gonna go to the very end.
Woo!
Yeah, 11 pages. Not to forgive is a form of agreeing to the hurt you are living. This is a form of saying yes and giving approval for what it is that you are living. Again, the word is consent. I am consenting to my pain. I am consenting to my anger. I am consenting to my disapproval of me, of the world, of everything in it. Just fill it in, you know. Saying no is to end what is hurting your heart and your entire being every minute or second of life. This we can end. And we end it through coming from the heart. Get out of the way of what should be or shouldn't be or who did what, because you're living in the past. And when I live in the past, I hurt me. All the time. All the time. We all have something to be upset about. Truly. I really believe so. So I just wanted to end with that. And I just wanted to let you know that I truly do believe the key to the heart is forgiveness. But we can change it around and say the key to forgiveness is from the heart. Just turn it around. When you feel good about you, start to forgive you and love you, you can forgive. And just remember this, to forgive doesn't mean you forget.
No.
To forgive doesn't mean that you have accepted what happened to you and that someone else gets to do it.
It doesn't condone.
It doesn't condone. What it means is that you are no longer willing to be the place where all of this stuff resides, giving you health problems, emotional problems, spiritual problems, financial problems, all kinds of problems you can imagine. It just simply means that to forgive means that this is your path to freedom, and you can take it or not. It's pretty simple like that. And yes, we're going to fall back once in a while, and that's all right. Get up again, face it again, look in the mirror again, and then say, okay, I see where I'm stuck today. Do a little forgiveness and discover that whatever that log jam is moves. It will move. But it cannot move if you're up there adding the freaking logs on it. Oh, my fault.
Flying logs.
If you're adding logs to it, it doesn't move. It doesn't move. It doesn't move. We are not building dams. That's for the beavers. And we can bless them. They create meadows in life. But to hold on to your hurt does not create a meadow. Well, unless you like stickles and things like that, then you can have those. So I just wanted to say that. And I want to thank you all for listening and being a part of it, because it's a very important thing to realize that we can create the life we want. We feel that we deserve and desire. And we can start with just letting go of the stuff we've been carrying around for a long, long time, because it doesn't serve you. It really doesn't. And when you start the process of healing, you begin to see what you've been missing. And I will end by saying, and it's okay to have one cookie, you know. It's okay to have 2 cookies.
And it's okay to have the whole package.
It's okay.
What did you find out about tornadoes?
Oh, what I found out about tornadoes was that the encyclopedia didn't say very much. It just told me that a tornado it could be something that could start in water or come onto land. In the water, you know, we got like a hurricane or something, and it comes on the land and it becomes a tornado. But a tornado is a vortex of energy with an incredible force that can go up to hundreds of miles an hour, that has a destructive power to flatten everything in his path, to take lives, and to, that's what it told me. That was that version back in
The day.
60s. 1961.
Because isn't that just like discouragement?
That is just like discouragement.
And
That's exactly what it does.
And anger, yeah.
And that was how all of this got started. I just needed to know a little bit more because I was just amazed at how much we took for granted as children because we weren't allowed to know more. We weren't allowed to know more, and when you wanted to know more, you weren't allowed. So I had to find my way. So as a result of that, I have like 50,000 books. Pretty much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Hey.